Okay, we are in week, what are we? I think we're in week 12 now. No, week 11 of CHD 217, Language and Literacy for the Young Child. Um, those of you who are a little bit behind, need to get it together, please know that you can turn assignments in and still get points. You will get reduced points for being late, but get that stuff in, please. Number two, this is very important. On Monday, May 3rd at 6 o'clock p.m., we are meeting on Zoom for your final presentations, for your final project presentations. If you have not run your presentation idea by me, your project idea by me, you need to do that. I need to make sure that whatever you've thought of for your project is going to be worth 100, I think it's 100 points. Um, yeah, it's 75 points for the project and then 25 points for the reflection part. So if you don't let me know in advance what you're going to work on, and you spend a whole bunch of time working on a project and I don't think it's worth 100 points, you could get 20 points for your project, and you don't want to do that. I would love to help you figure out what is going to be a suitable project. And what I want you to remember is, with this project, it's not that you're trying to teach kids to read. Like, that's not the ultimate goal of this project. This project is just show me what you've learned about helping children have language and literacy experiences in their classroom at school. So it's coming up with an activity that you can do with little kids that's going to give them a language and literacy experience. It could be a song that you've come up with, that involves different words and sounds. So they're listening and they're learning new words. It could be a book that you've written. It could be a movie that you've made. It could be a song book, a book of songs that you can sing in the classroom. So there's a whole bunch of different things that you can do. And I think that it could be an alphabet chart. It could be a lot of different things. The assignment is in week 11. So look at the assignment. It is something, an activity or a product or something that is useful in working with children or communicating with parents about children and literacy. Something that shows what you've learned about language and literacy in young children this semester. There are a variety of ideas of what you could do. What you're going to do is you're going to make this project, and then you're going to show it to us in that Zoom class on May 3rd at 6 p.m. Okay? Um, and then you're going to also write a paper about it. The paper is actually due on Sunday night and the class is on Monday night. So your paper, if you do it right, what you might be doing for your presentation is telling us what you've said in your paper. So your reflection paper needs to talk about why you chose this, why you think it engages children. And those are the things that we're going to talk about when we do the presentations. Okay. So if you have not checked with me on that, please do. Email me, remind me, call me, show up at office hours. Okay. All right. Next, let's talk about the week 10 discussion. W and M. Let's just watch it because it's so great. And then I'll talk about, you guys had a lot of interesting discussion about it, and we'll talk about it.
W. M. W. M. This is an M. Make an M. Give me an M. Ready? W. M. you.
It's so great, isn't it? They're having so much fun, and what is happening there? So the questions that we had to tackle in the discussion are, what's the father doing and how is it affecting the little boy? First, let's talk about the little boy. I would guess he is between 15 and 18 months old. Maybe a little bit younger, I'm not sure. But so he's at a stage where he's working on language skills really a lot, whether you can tell or not. He's got a lot of physical skills mastered. So now it's time to sort of flip the switch to some language skills. And he's doing a great job. So he clearly has receptive language skills and expressive. Like, he understands what his father is saying to him. He understands how to have a conversation, how to have that back and forth, right? He understands how to focus on his father and respond when his father responds to him. So what is the father doing? He's doing a couple of things. He's doing that serve and respond. He is saying things and responding, and the boy is saying things and responding. They are having that time where they're focused on each other and they're working on something together. And these are all steps in reading and literacy and language development, right? You have to be able to pay attention to someone when they're talking to you, right? And that's a learned skill. He's teaching him this, whether he knows it or not, right? He's teaching him to listen. He's teaching him to listen for what he's saying, right? And he's doing, just the fact that they're having so much fun doing something that's a learning activity is excellent, because it's setting the stage for learning is fun, right? Is the little boy a reader? In my mind, the little boy is a reader, because what he is doing is developmentally appropriate for his age as a reader. He understands that that symbol stands for something, right? He doesn't get that it's a letter. He doesn't get what sound it makes or how it fits into words or any of that, but he knows that this symbol, this W, is something and it's important. He knows that the M is something and it's important. If you took a different M or W or wrote an M or W on a page and said to him, what is this? He may not know what it is, because at his developmental level, that thing that the dad is holding and the thing that he is holding, those are the M's and W's. He probably doesn't have the cognitive development to transfer that to other M's and W's, right? So he may not be able to find an M or a W anywhere else, but he knows that those specific letters that he's holding and that his dad are holding are M and W. And he knows that if it goes this way, it's M, and if it goes this way, it's W. Now, if you tried to do that again 3 days later or something, and you didn't say, what's this, and you held it up, he probably wouldn't get it. It depends a little bit on his cognitive development. But what he's getting is, when it looks like this, daddy says W. When it looks like this, daddy says M. And that's what I get, right? Okay. So I would say he is a reader, in the same way that an infant who can sit and flip through the pages of a board book or choose on the pages of one of those squishy books is a reader. That little boy is a reader. The same way a 4-year-old who can write the first letter of his name is a writer. That little boy is a reader, right? The same way a 3-year-old who sits in the library and points out pictures and names what they are is a reader. So, like I always say, it's a continuum, a developmental continuum of reading. And it starts with, I'm sitting in your lap listening while you read a book, to I'm chewing on the pages of a board book, to I'm holding a book correctly and turning the pages. Same thing with letters and numbers too. But he has an understanding that that's an important thing. And what's great about it is when he gets to the point where he's learning letters, he may not remember specifically, but he will already have been introduced to W and M, and he'll be like, okay, yeah, okay. Um, does he have an understanding of the letters? I don't think he does at all. I don't. I mean, he could be holding up a picture of a ladybug and a picture of an ant and doing the same thing, and the child would be getting the same thing out of it, right? He'd be getting that interaction between the father and the son. He'd be getting the naming of something, and this is this and this is that. I don't think he knows that those are letters, that those are letters that go into words. I don't think he gets any of that, but that doesn't lessen the value at all. What's the biggest benefit he's receiving from this interaction? Just the positive focus from his father, the opportunity to say, to make the sounds that he needs to make to say those letters. The introduction to the letters is good, but I don't think that's the primary thing. And one of you said in your discussion that the father should probably make sure that he's not pushing too hard. And that's a really good point. Like, this is so appropriate for a kid that age. Anything beyond that is not appropriate. And it's going to have sort of a negative impact. If you're pushing too hard, it's not fun anymore, and it's not interesting, and it becomes work. And so the way he's doing it is so fantastic. What else is he getting? He's getting introduced to those letters, which are, we'll talk about this in a minute, but going to be important letters for him. And so even if he doesn't really remember that later on, it's good for him to have that introduction to them. If the dad was sitting there with the letters and going, this is W, 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 W for walrus, that's not going to have any impact on the kid at all, right? He doesn't get the sounds. He would think it was funny, right? He doesn't know what a walrus is. So just doing what he's doing is enough and appropriate. Other benefits. I talked about the back and forth. I talked about the social interaction, just, seeing a parent and a child that engaged and that happy together is so much, really. And someone else said, and I think this is interesting, this is a video that it would be good to show to parents. And it would be a great video to show to parents, because parents are always like, I don't know what to do with my kid. We talk about literacy, we talk about language development, and they think I need to buy workbooks, I need to get ABC Mouse, I need to get hooked on phonics or whatever. No, 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 nope. Drive around town and point out letters. Do what that dad is doing. Talk about things. Just sit and talk with your kid. Those things are going to be as, at this age for sure, as impactful as any of those, sit down in front of a computer and do something. No, that's not how kids learn. As a child development specialist who knows about language and literacy, what would you say to this dad? You would say, good job, dad. You're killing it. You're doing such a good job. You're not expecting more than he's developmentally ready for. You're giving him an exciting, interesting, engaging, fun learning activity, which is going to make him think learning is fun. You're having a positive interaction with him. So he's going to, it strengthens your bond. It's great. It's so good. It's when you see people at the grocery store talking to their kids and saying, oh, look, those are the apples. The apples are red. Do you like to eat apples? Apples are crunchy. Sometimes you see that and you think, oh my God, that mother is crazy, because that child doesn't get any of that, especially when you see it with a mom and an infant. And sometimes it is because parents just need to, somebody to talk to. And sometimes it's because they know that this is good for their kid. It doesn't matter. It's all great, right? I would much rather see that than somebody with their child at the grocery store not speaking. Oh, that one makes me so sad. Okay. If I told you the little boy's name is Winston Moore, how does that add to what you think about what's going on? One of you in your discussion was like, I don't think that makes any difference. Oh, wait a minute. Yes, it does. It was so funny. So yes, the child's name is Winston Moore. So he's going to need to know M and W. And a couple of you brought up, he's going to need to know M and W because he's going to write them and they're very similar, right? And so the dad's already priming him on this. This is W and this is M. So, those are going to be the most important. The W is going to be the most important letter for him, for a while. So yeah, it's important that you know that. I just love this video so much. And I think that it teaches way more than you would think a video of a dad and a little toddler talking to each other for a minute could do. So I'm glad you all liked it. And you did great in the discussion. Keep up your good work. Make sure that you know what your project is going to be and you let me know because we are getting close to the end of the semester. We don't have anything but discussions due in week 11. In week 12, you have discussion and a quiz. And then week 13, it's your final project. So let's get it together.